Did Danny Sheehan just say that the control group is in contact with the beings? Let's talk about that and a whole lot more, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, and an excellent interview with that UFO podcast. He had a lot of great stuff to say, but this was a jewel. Check this out.
The reality is that there almost has to be some much higher level of communication going on between the deepest elements inside the legacy group and at least one or more of these extraterrestrial, almost certainly extraterrestrial beings that are coming and going here. Because, otherwise there would be a lot more confrontations that would be taking place between them. And it's not. There's some kind of cooperation going on here, some sort of a coordinated program this going on, in that you can't get Congress to start paying attention to that.
Well, of course, Congress isn't going to pay attention to that. And of course, it goes much deeper than simple coordination and, not shooting at them. They are shooting at some of them, and they are working with others. They are also assisting the beings in abductions. And, who knows how deep that rabbit hole goes. The secret space fleet, all that kind of stuff. I think some version of that is real. We do know that we're going into space, sometimes with beings, like in the Terry Lovelace story, military people going aboard a giant UFO, filled with non-humans, participating in abductions, stuff like that. Mike Carrera says we're going into space so often in our own UFOs that the pilots are bored of going into space. Again, who knows how deep that rabbit hole goes, but I suspect that it's pretty deep. Either way, it's awesome that Danny is talking about how the control group, or the legacy programs, the deepest element of the legacy programs, as he calls it, they're working with the beings. Now, he doesn't say this as a definitive fact. He says they have to be, because it's the only way it makes sense. And I absolutely agree. Meanwhile, more and more people are talking about the Trump rally UFO. Complete with orbs and everything. It's just a wild video, and people are they're really digging into it, and they're finding some interesting aspects to it. So let's dive into that just a little bit. Here's a great still from the video where you can see the object, and here's a zoom in where you can see the shape of this thing. Looks very saucer-like. It's kind of truncated there, kind of lumpy. But hey, maybe it's a lumpy saucer. I don't know. But of course, it's going super fast, and it's the limitations of the camera. We're lucky to get any visual of it at all. But yeah, it looks distinctly saucer shaped to my mind. But let me know what you think. Maybe it's more Tic Tac-ish or something like that. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. Patrick Jackson says, from the Trump assassination video, sphere formations are correct. This UAP is legit. And these are the spheres around this object, or close to this object, and that is the object itself. Now, I'm still, I want to see some corroboration that these aren't like water droplets or something like that. But they don't seem to be in other parts of the video. So I'm assuming that these are actually spheres, or, orbs, drones sent out by the main UFO, or who knows, maybe there's multiple groups of beings doing different things. One of them trying to prevent the assassination, another trying to keep it going. Who knows, guys? Who knows? We just don't know. But Patrick Jackson draws a comparison to the Mosul orb, which is interesting. Yeah, and if these are classic, metallic orbs, that's really interesting. And yeah, I mean, that could totally be what's going on. And we've seen in many very credible cases, like in the Tic Tac incident, well, those objects may have been drones dispatched by a larger submarine object. Because that's what originally drew Commander David Fravor's attention, was this large submerged object, and the Tic Tac seemed to be interacting with it. We don't know if it was actually released by that object or not, but it's interesting fruit for speculation, and it may have been. Either way, there are many encounters or many examples from experience or accounts of some sort of mothership sending out smaller ships. So, who knows, but it's interesting. And check this out. This was sent to me by Dr. Robert Shipe of Dragon UFO fame. If you haven't seen the excellent interview I had with him the other day, check it out. But okay, look at this. Look at this. You can see, you see it, right? You see what looks like a UFO or a dragon or whatever coming from left to right. Look at that incredible footage. Here's some stills from it where you can see this object right there, and you can see the trajectory of this object. I think this is super fascinating, guys, and very likely anomalous, especially since we know now that it appears like real UFOs were on the scene at the time. And Think Tank is posting this image showing an orb over the water tower at the rally. A flying object, an unidentified flying object over the water tower. And here's a still showing what appears to be the same UFO sent by Dr. Robert Shipe. I think this is fantastic, guys. Yeah, in this zoom in, you can clearly see that it's not a bird or a bug. That seems to be a genuine anomalous object. Is it the same one from this picture? Or are there multiple UFOs? There seems to be at least one saucer-shaped craft, or tic-tac, or whatever it is, and multiple orbs. But could there have been multiple saucer-shaped craft or larger vehicles? Let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, different subject, Jay Anderson is reporting Alyssa Carson is a 19-year-old astronaut who became the youngest person in history to pass all NASA aerospace tests. She is now preparing to be the first human to travel to Mars. Well, Godspeed, Alyssa. I hope you have a great journey whenever that happens. Meanwhile, Jim Quirk from the Quirk Zone is sharing an awesome orb video or some sort of paranormal event happening on this door cam. Check it out, guys. It's really, really cool. Okay, what is going on in this weird video? Okay, flash of light. And then you got orbs shooting up from the ground or whatever that is. Really great sighting. Jim does an awesome, epic deep dive into this material. And he has a lot to say and lots of great insights. And I encourage you to go and check out the full video, and I'll link to the Quirk Zone's video below. Meanwhile, the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick and Brandon Fugal exchange shots over the interesting meeting that Sean Kirkpatrick claims that he wasn't even at. But of course, now we know he was. But here he is talking about that.
And that particular meeting, I was asked by some of those Senate staffers that are in that picture to come be a objective third party, listen to what they have to say and give us your feedback.
Right. Subject matter expert type of a thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, if one could claim subject matter expertise in this. So I went, so I think at the time, if I remember the time frame correctly, I was actually between assignments.
Yep.
I had been the senior S&TI officer for the Pentagon. I was going to Colorado to stand up Space Command. I think that was the time frame. And I was asked to come take a listen and give thoughts. I did. I told them I thought it was not real. I thought they were doing pseudoscience and they weren't even really doing their science very well.
Yeah.
And it was a publicity thing. I mean, there was a picture taken. I mean, I think there were several pictures taken. And
a publicity thing, and we never heard about it until recently. Okay.
For the guy was, who I couldn't pick out if I saw him in a lineup. Had nothing to offer. But then later, a couple of months ago, tried to make this a thing. Yeah. And I think even went so far as to say that I had led the meeting, that I had said that this is something that we need to go jump on, and nothing could be further from the truth. That's such an embellishment of the circumstances.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Okay, you can watch the full interview at your leisure, over an hour of the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. Yeah, no comment. But anyway, Brandon Fugal is responding. He says, Dr. Kirkpatrick, publicly stated in an interview that he had never met me, never attended any type of briefing regarding Skinwalker Ranch in Washington, D.C., and never had any interest in these topics prior to 2022, which was simply not true. I was being called a liar, so I was unfortunately forced to set the record straight, providing irrefutable evidence that he had indeed met me, sat across from me at the head of the table for 2.5 hours while I gave a presentation with my team of scientists specifically about Skinwalker Ranch, and he was obviously interested in these topics in 2018. There was absolutely no publicity, as I did not want my identity ever publicly revealed as the owner of the ranch at the time. Photo, video was taken discreetly. So there you go. That is what Sean had to say about it. Clearly continuing to lie his butt off about it, while making it as boring as humanly possible. I do. I think Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the lovely, actually took classes in how to be as boring as possible. You have to discredit the UFO phenomenon, right? So you have to get people less interested in it. So you have to debunk it. But even making the debunkings boring, right? I think he took a class. I think he aced that class, guys. He aced it. But let me know what you think about this interesting back and forth between the lovely SK and Brandon Fugal. Meanwhile, check this out, guys, from David Haith breaking down this video interview with Kevin Day. This is cool. Former radar chief Kevin Day has revealed new witnesses of the famous Nimitz encounter are about to step forward. He said, "Here's some new news finally. Almost 20 years later, I got some new witnesses about to come out. I'm not going to reveal anything about them because we're still working it. And I've warned everyone. I've told them, make damn sure you want to do this because News 8 is going to be knocking on your door. You'd better be sure your family's ready and your employer's ready because it's going to change your life. It really is. And some of the things that are going to happen to you is going to come out of the blue, and a fact that a lot of us, and I didn't even realize it for a time, I wasn't the only one affected." So, absolutely. I can't wait to learn about these new witnesses to what might be the most famous UFO encounter of all time. Well, you can't really get more famous than Roswell, but come on, a dogfight with the UFO? That's pretty major, guys. Speaking of the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, Joe Murgia reminds us of this quote from David Grusch, where he says, "I am not aware of any of the 40 primary interview subjects that form the basis of my ICIG whistleblower complaint having gone to Arrow to be interviewed. The witnesses conveyed to me a lack of trust in Arrow in the command climate." Whereas Sean Kirkpatrick told Merrick von Ehrenkamp just a couple of days ago, the data that was provided, we cross-referenced with what we'd already known because we had interviewed most of the people the Grusch had already talked to, and there was nothing new. Yeah, nothing new about UFO crash retrievals and reverse engineering. I'm sure he's on the level there. I'm sure that's nothing new to SK, who's been involved in this for a long time. But of course, he's clearly BSing with this response, unless there's some wiggle room in David Grusch's original quote, where he says, "I am not aware of any of the 40 primary interview subjects going to Arrow." So could they have gone to Arrow without him being aware of it? Or is Sean Kirkpatrick completely lying his butt off like usual? I suspect the latter, but let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, from science.org, the most ancient human genome yet has been sequenced, and it's a Denisovans. 200,000-year-old DNA from a Siberian cave shows our elusive extinct cousins mated repeatedly with Neanderthals. Yeah, it's an interesting article. The Denisovans that we know of seem to mostly come from this cave that go back, a long ways. And sometimes they were occupying it. Sometimes Neanderthals were occupying it. Later, humans were occupying it. Very active cave. Whatever this cave was, it was doing it right because a lot of people wanted to be in that cave. It was the place to be over many, many, many years. The Denisovans were interbreeding with Neanderthals. And later, that interbred population seems to have moved out, and more pure blood Denisovans moved back in. And anyway, there's back and forth over the various human species or cousins for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. But it's a fascinating cave, fascinating discovery that Denisovan DNA has been sequenced. Pretty cool. Meanwhile, I'm putting out my new book, The Bounty, Part 1 of the Cosmic Road series. I'm putting that out soon, looking for some advanced readers. If you're interested in reading an advanced copy of the book, just let me know. I will provide my email below. Just shoot me an email if you're interested in being an advanced reader. Advanced readers get to read the book for free. All I ask in return is an honest review on Amazon when you're done reading. Meanwhile, check out this great footage from John Bell of Real Florida UFO. This is awesome. I love it. He's got 3 UFOs of different types doing different things right in that a couple seconds. Okay, and he slows it down for us. But let's take a look at that again in real time. You'll see a fast moving. So he's tracking a regular orb in the middle of the sky that you'll see, and then this fast moving object comes right there. Looks like a shooting star, but it's not. He sees these things all the time. Sometimes they'll change their trajectory, proving that they're not shooting stars. At the exact moment that the shooting star appears, you see another orb appear, or something close to the orb that he's tracking. Okay, check it out.
That is a nice flyby. 2 flybys.
2 flybys. Okay, now let's see the slow-mo. Check it out. Okay, so he's tracking the one UFO. This regular orb right there. Saucer orb, whatever it is. He gets that flyby right there. But don't be distracted by that flyby because there's another object that appears at exactly the same time. And I think that is just super cool. And okay, let's see it right there. Okay, not exactly. It's like slightly staggered. As soon as that object leaves the frame, the other object appears. Look at that. It changes direction too. That is just super groovy, guys. I love it. John just gets such great contacts. So he's got 3 UFOs in the sky at the same time, and they're all doing something different. One is just meandering around like a normal orb flying through the sky. You got that one right there, and then you've got this funky one that zips back, powers up, and then zips back again. I think that's just really, really cool. Yeah, I would love to see like a zoom in and some analysis on that. Because that is pretty badass. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys. Go check out John's channel, Real Florida UFO. Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the like button and the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below. Or heck, buying one of my books in the Amazon link below. Or you can become a channel member because channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.